Okie dokie, so here we go. This is my opinion on Life and Death Twilight Reimagined by Stephanie Myers. It was interesting. So I'm not going to give a full synopsis of that. Go watch my Twilight review. There's the thing. If you want to see a full synopsis of it, the only part I will be talking about is the ending. So spoilers from here on out. So instead of Edward being able to successfully suck the venom out of Bella, thus saving her life, by the time Edith gets there to save Beau, it's too late. It will either kill him, she'll either kill him trying to save him, or he'll change. He changes, and then big old funeral. Beau is dead. They have a quick conversation with the wolves saying, we didn't break the treaty, it's all good. Happy ending for Edith and Beau. So, getting into the characters, starting with our Bella changeover, we have Beau. His full name is Beaufort. I am sorry for this kid. And she does acknowledge it in this, that he hates his own name too. That's why he goes by Beau. So I like him a little bit more than Bella because he's more self-aware, I think. Like, there's a point when Edith is first, like, into him and he's going, why? Why does she like me? I'm boring. And he kind of gets a little emotional about it. And I'm like, well, you are. Work on yourself, get a hobby. But he does seem to be a little more self-aware, which I kind of liked. I mean, he's still pretty bland, let's be honest here. It's the framework is still Bella, so not a lot you can do with that. Moving on to the Edward substitute, we have Edith. Again, pretty much the same thing I had with Edward for the first half when she isn't in a relationship with Beau. Kind of snarky, kind of a dick, got a bit more personality. As soon as that relationship clicks into place, what is this? Personality? Bye! Yeah, it right out the window. Forget about it. She just becomes the same boring, I love you, I have to protect you, that Edward was. The other thing with this that I was a little disappointed by was that everybody but Charlie and Renee gets the gender flip. And I mean everybody. Literally everybody gets gender flipped. So it was just very... I was a little disappointed by that because I was like, okay, it kind of would have been fun if you didn't flip, like, the school kids. Like, you know, Mike, Jessica, and all of them. Because I was like, you don't have to flip them for the story to work. So I was a little disappointed that you basically get the exact same story with the exact same scenarios where Beau is still the new guy, and Michaela, who is the Mike substitute, has the total hots for him, and then Jeremy, the Jessica substitute, gets jealous over that. It's the exact same scenarios. I was like, it would have been more interesting, I think, if it had still been Mike and Jessica, where Jessica is the one chasing after Beau, and then maybe Mike is indifferent to it, and it's Jessica's trying to use Beau to make Mike jealous. Something different than just the same scenario rehashed over again. A stupid name change, I think, is because, again, some of the gender flipping is necessary. Like, with the fact that Edith and Beau are now our characters, Rosalie and Emmett are two that absolutely have to be gender flipped because that's the point of Carlisle originally turning Rosalie, was that he was hoping that she and Edward would make a love connection, but that didn't happen. So in this one, yes, Rosalie does have to be gender swapped, and so does Emmett, by extension, for this world apparently. And so it's now Royal is Rosalie's name, which I thought was so stupid. I was like, Royal? Really? It could just be Richard or something like that? Like, there are other older sounding R names that you could have picked. Like, I thought Royal was very, very dumb. Okay, other things that, and this one's more of a general complaint for both Twilight and Life and Death, is the problem with Edward and Edith both being like, oh, you're so fragile. If I touch you, I could smoosh your head like a grape. And I'm like, you guys are both 100 years old. Like, how do you make it through a normal day without just shattering everything you touch? Like, come on. How do you not have some more control over this at this point? Because, again, in Night Huntress, check out the thing if you want to see my review. They do that. There's points when new vampires get turned. That's part of like your new vampire onboarding orientation is learning to control your strength so you don't just shatter everything you touch. I mean, like, final test is being able to pick up an egg without, cracking it, and then it's okay. You've got enough control over yourself. Where this, it's like, I get it for Bo and Edith and Edward and Bella that they're in more relaxed situations. There is a higher potential for a slip up, but I still think it's stupid that they don't have that much control. Another change in this that I liked was casual physical contact. In Twilight, Edward and Bella basically never touch. It's like when they do touch, it's like this big awe-stopping moment, where in this, Bo and Edith just casually touch each other, like hold hands a lot more often, which I liked as a change. Another thing with Edith's character, there were some points where I thought she had, I guess, lack of a better term, more balls than Edward. Like the point when Bo gets saved in Port Angeles, because that still happens. It goes down differently. It's kind of dumb, but it still happens. Is that Edith is like, there are multiple times where she's like gonna get out of the car and go fuck these guys up, but Bo's like, no, you need to stay. Where Edward was just like, come with me if you want to live. And then they, get the hell out of there. Where Edith, like, multiple times is like, I gotta go. And Bo's like, you stay. So it was like the points when they're at school and they're dating that it's like she like touches his face. There's points where Edward like touches Bella's face and she's like, oh my god. I was like, it got to those same points with Edith and Bo, and I was like, Edith, kiss him on the cheek, do something, like, a little more chutzpah behind it. And there was another moment which made me go, oh shit, where I thought it was going to be a pretty significant change to this was, if you've read Twilight, one of the first drama points in it is the spring dance. It's not prom, it's a Sadie Hawkins thing. And there's a point where Jeremy starts talking to Bo about it, and Jeremy is the Jessica substitute, that he's like, hey, has anybody asked you to the prom? And I was like, oh shit, this could be a cool change. No, Jeremy was just, oh, I was just wondering if Michaela asked you, because it's the Mike substitute. It's the exact same plot. And that was the thing that I was like, if you're gonna do this gender bent, can I see some more differences in it throughout the story besides just the ending change? And the ending. Oh boy. And I don't know if my perspective on this is being skewed slightly because I listened to it at double speed, because, like I said with Twilight, after they get together, my interest in this plummets. So it's the funeral, of course. Bo and Edith are up in a tree watching it, and you see his parents, and I'm just like, that part legitimately started choking me up a little bit, because I was like, they think their son is dead. Like, that's rough. And like, yeah, Bo seems to have like some regrets over it, and I get it, because in the context of the stories, it could only end one of two ways. It was either he changed or he died. There was no other option in this world. So, but it's like the things he does is like he talks to Bonnie Black, the Billy Black substitute, because they have to explain that they didn't break the treaty. And he's like, hey, can you watch after my dad? And if there's anything I can do behind the scenes, let me know. But I don't know. It felt like Bo was getting over it too quickly, because I was just like, you just put your parents through hell, like literally the worst hell you can put a parent through. Their child is dead, and you're just happy to go run off into the sunset with your vampire girlfriend? What? I don't know. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm a big fan of how the original Twilight ended, because that is the ultimate just sugary happily ever after. Bella gets everything that she wants without any sacrifice. But I don't know, I think Bo is, and again, I think that comes down to idiot 17-year-olds, that it's like, oh, well, I've got my girlfriend, so I'm good. And I'm like, oh my god, that part kind of irked me. But idiots 17-year-olds. So I will say for this, if you've read Twilight, if you have any modicum of interest in reading it, I think it's interesting, but I don't know if my review has tipped you in one way or the other. Great, because my biggest thing with it for being a reimagining of Twilight, it's not that reimagined. It's still the same story. And the other thing I will say with this is there's a lot of shit that gets condensed into this. There is like all of the build up, all of the stuff that gets strung out between Twilight and Breaking Dawn, all have to get smashed into this. That's where like some of the gender bent stuff didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like the Volturi get brought up, and she gender bent the Volturi, and I was like, why? The Volturi aren't even featured in this. They're only mentioned in passing. You know, they're only brought up as they are out there. And I was like, why did you gender bend them? It doesn't add anything. She didn't even gender bend them. She created this whole convoluted political scheme that happened, which I was like, why? It didn't add anything to it. And the same thing with like the trio in this, the James, Victoria, and Laurent, they all get gender flipped, and I was like, that changed nothing. Why did they have to get gender flipped? Again, it's just if you're gonna do a reimagining, I want it to be more different. And I mean, overall, I liked the concept of this. I liked it where it was the girl who is the magical thing, vampire, werewolf, dragon shifter, whatever, and it's the guy that's the normal one. Because I've read a lot of these paranormal romances, and it's usually the guy who's the extraordinary and the girl who is ordinary, and it's usually told either split perspective between heroine and hero or only from the heroine's perspective. And I get it, romance books are marketed towards women, but it was kind of interesting to read it from the guy's perspective and have it be the guy who's playing catch up to the girl instead of the other way around. I liked that in concept, which I think kind of made this book slightly better rated in my opinion. So overall, I give it a 2.75 to 3 out of 5. I did like it a touch better than Twilight, but again, I think that comes down to just me liking the concepts overall. But that's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's totally cool. Leave your comments down below if there's something you'd like to see me take a crack at in the future. My next video coming up is going to be my next 3. Two of them are already decided. It will be the next book of the Night Huntress series and Lord Mackenzie, because that one got bumped from this last section, and I don't know what my third one is going to be. I need to go figure that out right now. So that's all I got for you guys right now, and I will talk to you in a little while.